Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So, I'm Francesca, and today we will present how to set your alarms within your TX control platform connected to all your devices. The webinar will be in English, but if you need any support in Italian, French, or hopefully some other language that we know, we will support you in any case. Okay? So today with me, there's Renzo, the CTO of 22HBG, that will present you all the details and the features related to alarm settings.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this new TX Control webinar. And today we will talk about the alarm settings for all your devices that you have integrated also in TX Control. But before start with the alarm settings process, I want to remember what TX Control is. And in few words, TX Control is a system that is a smart remote control and monitoring tool that allow you to control all your devices that you have integrated in the instance. And this multi-protocol is integrated with a lot of models and brands that we have already integrated in the system. So every time you install new instance of TX Control, you will be upgraded with all the brands and devices and relative models that we have developed across the latest 3 years, and is able to send command by a scheduler, so you can plan your commands and you can send commands to a lot of groups, and is secure and cyber secure because we have developed all the system with the partnership of AWS across all the AWS cloud infrastructure. And also, obviously, we have integrated in the latest version the AI integration that is able to analyze in real time all the data and generate for you real-time dashboards and reports that you can send or download directly from the platform. But let's go to the topic of the latest webinar, that is the alarm settings. And before, we have seen in the previous webinars how to configure a new instance, how to configure users, and today we will see how to configure alarms for all the devices that you have integrated in the system. So the first thing that we need to know is that TX Control is able to control a lot of brands, and you can manage also by yourself all brands and related models, simply adding new brands from the platform. And for each brand, we can manage also all the models that the manufacturer has developed for the brand. And there we can start to manage all the alarms that we want to receive from the device, because you can manage and you can set alarms directly from each single variable in an entity that we have talked and is generally known as threshold. So for each variable, you can integrate multiple thresholds. That means that the system, every time check the value of a specific variable, will check also if there is a threshold that the user has set, and you can set thresholds that can check absolute values or percentage values, and can control if the current value that the TX Control is measuring, if the value is equal, not equal, greater to, or so on, of a specific value, is able to generate events that are also alarms that will be sent to all the users that are associated to the device. And you can choose from 3 different priorities. So you can set different thresholds with different priorities that will be high, medium, and low. And you can also configure in the thresholds a sort of waiting time in order to avoid fake alarms. So you can say to the system, check that this variable that can be the temperature, can be the reflected power, the power, or also if you have IoT devices, you can check and see if a door is open or if a contact is open or is closed, and you can manage the thresholds in order to check the real-time value or alarms for those variables. And so you can say to the system to check the current value and create automatically different event that will be converted in alarms for all the users. So you can set thresholds directly from the model management, and that means that every time you create a new device with this specific model, this new device will be updated with all the thresholds that are being set on the model. And from the device side, also you can customize in a second level all the thresholds that you have from your model. So in this case, we have a device that is a Signum devices, and you can configure, for example, the alarm on the temperature, in this case the customer, because this is an instance that is really running across the Italy country for a real customer, and our customer set thresholds that check that the absolute value of the temperature for this specific device is greater than 65 degrees. The system will generate an event with the high priority, but before generate the event, will wait 16 seconds in order to avoid fake alarms. And this threshold has been enabled because you can enable or disable each thresholds. And the process, so let's save the thresholds. The process is you generate the threshold, and when the system will check that this threshold has been activated, will open an event, and this event will be sent to all all the users that are associated to the device, because you can manage the notification dispatch process by adding or removing single users to each device, and for each user you can select different protocol in order to communicate the event. So you can choose the email notifications, push notifications, and if you want or if you need to integrate other protocols, I don't know, Telegram communication, WhatsApp, and I don't know, other channels, we can integrate for you these new channels, and you can choose one of those or all of those in order to reach the user, to reach the technician that will receive the alarm. And for each user, you can also choose the minimum level of notification that user has to receive. And you can choose obviously from low, medium, or high. So you can manage a sort of structure of communication, and in a very easy to use way, because the only thing that you need is, let's take a quick recap. You can configure the thresholds directly from the model for each variable, and every time you create a new device, this new device will receive all the thresholds that we have configured on the model. Or another way is to customize the single device. So for every device, you can customize in a second level way all the thresholds, and for each variables, you can manage multiple thresholds in the cascade mode. And every time the system will check the current value, because let's do a quick remind how TX control polling mode work. TX control work so in a polling way. So every minute, let's say, but it depends on the number of devices that we have integrated in the instance. Every minute, let's say, the system will check all the variables from all the devices that are integrated in the system, and for each variable the system will check all the thresholds presence and the thresholds validity. And if the system check that the threshold has been toggled, will generate an event with the rules that we have configured. And when an event will be opened, the system will check if a user is associated with the device, and accordingly with the configuration of the user, will send the event to the user using the communication protocol that we have selected for every single user and for the minimum level of notification that we have selected for each single user. And so the system will send two kinds of alarms. One for the opening event, so when the event has started, I don't know, so the temperature is too high for the device, so the system will send an event to all the users that are associated to the device that can receive this kind of message. And if the alarm, if the variable status will return to the normal behavior, the system will resend an off event that notify the user that the event or the alarm has been closed automatically from TX control system. Another way to receive the notification is the mobile application that is free to download directly from the App Store. So you can download, if you have a TX control instance, you can download the application, and inserting the credential of your instance, you can start immediately to interact with TX control instance. So you can send from the application directly commands, you can check the current status, you can see the real-time status of each variable for each model, for each device of your instance. So you can do basically the same thing that you can do on the web instance directly from your mobile application, but on the mobile application, you have the possibility to receive the real-time push notifications. So every time the TX control service will open a new event, you will receive this event directly on your mobile application. And let's go back on the model, because I think that the behavior and the process to generate and create custom thresholds, so equal events, so equal alarms, is that. And but it's very important to know that with TX control you can generate by yourself new brands and new model. So if you need to integrate a multiple variety of devices. So, for example, we have customers that have integrated by itself door sensors, CVA alarms settings, as integrated air conditioning devices. So you can integrate by yourself all those kind of devices by creating custom models. And the only thing that the system needs is the ID of the variable, the name, and stop. So you can immediately start aggregating measures from the variables. And when you have created a variable, so you can create thresholds, so you can create automatic alarms. And also we can manage for you, we can create for you custom dashboards that aggregate sites informations, and you can manage an overview for all your sites. And if you need a specified version of the real-time dashboard, we can create that for you in real time with your support, because we need to know which kind of data you want to integrate on a real-time dashboard, because by default, all the models that we develop for TX control has also a real-time dashboard included that is automatically opened when you open the device detail. But a lot of our customers are requesting us to create a sort of general overview from the entire network. So you have the generic map that shows to you the current status of the network, but if you need a real-time dashboard that aggregate multiple variables from each device or the most important device in each site, we can do that. And regarding the thresholds and the alarms, we are developing the service that we have called Genius, that basically analyze the real-time behavior of your network, analyze all the alarms and the duration, the priority, the threshold descriptions, and create for you a sort of real-time report that show to you anomalies, trends that the system has analyzed on the behavior of your network, and create for you a quick overview and also the recommendation tab in order to avoid the problems, the issues that the system has analyzed. And you can refresh this report, or you can also say to the system to generate this report every time the real-time analytics detect a large change, let me say, in the variable's behavior. You can also set the configuration in order to receive this kind of report automatically every day or every month, and you can say to the system, like, because I think that the most attendees in this webinar has already used I don't know, ChatGPT or something like that. So you can interact directly with the TX control instance in the same way. So you can make requests on which is the device that has the majority of alarms, or you can say which is the brand that generates the majority of the alarms, and so on. So this is the feature that we will release in the next future, and it's a plus for the thresholds process or the alarm managing process. And so I think that for the thresholds management, the process has been described in all the parts. So I will ask to Francesca to integrate something or open mute the microphone, please. Okay, so integrate something or request to the attendees, to the our customer, because I've seen that the list is very large, and I've seen that there is also our customers in the list. So if there are suggestions or requests or something to know more deeply, please ask us.
Yes, exactly. If you have any questions, please turn your microphone on, or if you have any suggestion or you want to tell everyone your experience with TX control, especially for those who are already customers or that uses on a regular basis TX control telemetry, you're more than welcome. So please feel free actually to ask.
Yeah,
even in Italian or in... Okay, sorry.
Yes, hi. I have a question. When we integrate IP codecs with TX control, any IP codecs that has an SNMP output, I noticed that you have integrated Diva. Can you tell the stream status, that is the device encoding and transmitting? Is that available through TX control? For example,
if the device is able to expose to us this kind of variable, we can catch the variable status, and we can integrate in personal dashboard. Or if you want to set the specific thresholds, you can do that by yourself. Or if you need our support, we can create that for you. So it depends. But for every kind of devices or models, it depends on the variables that the device is able to expose via, I don't know, SNMP or IP or whatever you want.
For example, you are already showing that you have a library for 2W, and Excel. So both of these companies make IP codecs. So most of the companies don't have an NMS. So we'll use TX control to act like a network monitoring system for us. So if you have IP codecs that are being used as an STL, it's very important to know if the IP codec is live or dead. Is it encoding? Is it offline? So such parameters are very important for a network monitoring system, because when I see TX control, for me, it's a network monitoring system for any engineer or network engineer.
Yeah. But we can integrate every kind of devices. So if you need to integrate this kind of devices, the only thing that we need is the possibility to communicate with the device via, I don't know, SNMP, GSM, or IP. And the most important thing is that we have to receive this kind of variable. Because because if the device is able to communicate as this variable, so via a specific OID, we can create a driver or a new variable in order to receive this new kind of variable and measure. But if you have, I don't know, analogic devices, we can integrate a sort of data collector, and we can map each port in order to receive analog data. And we have done that with analog devices like port sensors or temperature sensors, so we can do that.
Okay, perfect. So you're trying to tell me that if we have a temperature sensor or any kind of a sensor, we can directly integrate it to this. It doesn't have to be just a transmitter or a device that is using SNMP.
Yeah. The only thing that we need is to communicate with the device and a sort of variables mapping in order to map the variables and the measures and integrate those new variables into the system.
Okay, perfect. Just a suggestion for the next TX control session. It'll be nice if we can have a session on customized dashboards.
Okay.
On how people can do that. I think that'll be a very powerful feature. For example, for someone like me who's doing this for a customer, if you want to do them a customized dashboard, how they can monitor their device on a big screen. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So
thank you for your time.
I actually have a temperature device that is already integrated in TX Control. It measures like 6 different things.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
The one thing I was going to ask was, in terms of the variables, actually it's 2 things. I seem unable to drop down and get anything other than the option for absolute. Like I don't have, is there a place that lets me do something other than absolute value?
So you don't have in your instance the absolute value, because it depends. Okay, yes, I understand. It depends because in order to choose the percentage or absolute, we have to configure your model in order to map the variable to a working, there don't we have that, so let me check. Because when you set the thresholds, you need to know the working, I don't know, we have configured this kind of percentage or absolute choose in device that has the work power. So I think that I will find on a transmitter. Let me check that if we have. Okay, in this case, we have the work power, that is the power of the device. And I think that in the forward power variable, we will see the percentage option. No, because we don't have the reflected. Because when you see there is a map, so it means that this variable means the work power information that we have configured in the device information. You can choose the percentage because the system know that I have to check that the real-time value that I'm measuring right now is related to the value that I have configured in the device info section. So let me find a device that has this kind of. Okay, so I found a device that has the percentage options. So
Okay.
that means that we are in an LNOS device. We have configured the work power, so that is 5,000. And in the forward power variable, you can choose the percentage check. So it means that the system will check that in percentage, the current measured value is lower than the 10%. And if that means we'll open an event with high priority, medium priority, or low priority, and we'll wait 16 seconds before to generate the event.
Okay, so where did you set the power level?
The power level, so you set the work power of the device, that is 5,000.
So that is in device graphics.
The device info. In the device info tab, you will see the work power.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so there you have to set your work power for the device. And in variables tab, on the forward power variable, you will see the percentage option.
Okay, so I see my parameters, my nominal power, work power, and then I can go to my variables, and I go to the forward power.
Yeah.
And if I want to update it, the only option I have is absolute versus percent.
So we can check together if there is the mapping on the work power variable. So we can integrate that for it. So we will have another call, private call, so we can check together your configuration. So we can configure for you this kind of behavior. And the device that you are looking on is an LNOS device. Okay, perfect. So we will check. We will check together this kind of.
I just want to learn how to do the absolute versus the percent for things.
Basically, you can integrate. You can select percentage value when you see in the device detail this reference variable. So when you see that is present a reference variable in the variable detail, it means that you can select also the percentage value.
Okay, so that's back on that's at the variable, check if there's the reference value.
Yeah, because it means that this kind of variable will take reference on the variable that you have configured in the device information tab.
I see conversion formula, but I don't see a reference variable on this one. So that's okay.
Yeah, we will check together this kind of.
Okay, we also have a question in the chat that is, how can we ensure that all necessary variables are exposed and mapped correctly for accurate monitoring?
Slowly.
How can we ensure that all necessary variables are exposed and mapped correctly for accurate monitoring?
Okay, basically we will check the MIB of the device. So all the variables that are exposed from the MIB of the device will be integrated or can be integrated in the TX control instance. So if you want to know which variable you can monitor with TX control, you can or send us the MIB of the device that you want to integrate, or you can request us, okay, 22HBG, I want to integrate the device model is XYZ, and we can check with the manufacturer if can send to us directly the MIB, and we will reply to you on which variable you can integrate from the specific device that you want to use in TX control.
Okay, thank you. Do you have some other questions? Are there some other questions or suggestions, or do you want to share your? Yes, please.
So I have a device. It is our MikroTik router, and it has 101 variables, and I only need maybe 8 or 10.
You can remove.
I can just remove them. Just the little red dot, delete.
Yeah, you can remove that directly from the device variables. So that means that the system will, okay. So it means that the system will not monitor anymore those variables.
Is it, if there's a decision to add it back later, is that simple?
Okay, so the possibility are two. You can manage the variable that you want to monitor, or from the model, the generic model. But that means that if you update the model, all the devices that are associated to this model will be updated. So you will not receive anymore the variables that you will delete, or you can manage the variables directly from the device. So you can leave the model as is right now with all the variables, and you can delete the variables from the device that you want to update directly from the device. And when you want to restore the original variables, you can go on the model. You can do anything. So you have only to do update. Then let me do. Okay, so brand. In this case, I want to remove the first 3 variables directly from the device. you can remove directly the variables. So from the next cycle, you will not receive these 3 variables from this specific device. But if you in the future want to restore the original variables for the model, you can go on the brands, on the specific model, you can do update, save. So a pop-up will be opened, you can select the specific device and update. And that means that the device will be restored to the original configuration.
Okay, so if I have that MikroTik device, I have it in 30 places. I could probably start with going to that brand and making it be what I want for all of them and then apply it. So I don't have to go to each device and delete it off.
If you want, for example, in the router, MikroTik router, if you want to remove, there we have only 4 variables. So, but if you want to remove other variables, you can remove directly from the model, in this case, then update, select all the device that you have associated to, and update, and the system will update all the devices associated to the model.
Okay.
Using only the remaining variables.
Thank you. We have another question in the chat. So Kendall Priestley just mentioned she measures 6 devices on a BE transmitter device. What measurement hardware are you using, or are you using the BE's internal data port?
For the temperatures?
Yeah.
Is this? Yeah. I use a device called Web 600 Environmental Monitoring. I can send you a link to it if you want.
Okay, there's also another question that is written in Italian, but I'm going to translate. Is it possible to receive... Hold on, Renzo, microfono. Is it possible to receive alarm notification through communication channels such as Telegram or WhatsApp? And which are the main requisites to configure those protocols within TX control system?
Yes, we have already mentioned during the call the possibility to integrate other communication channels in order to receive the events. So we have mentioned, actually we have integrated push notification directly on the TX Control mobile app. You can receive SMS if you integrate your custom GSM gateway. You will receive email notification through our SMTP web server, or you can integrate your custom SMTP server. And if you need to integrate other channels like, I don't know, WhatsApp, Telegram, and so on, we can create customization configuration for you, because we need to integrate directly your WhatsApp business account. So you have to create the Meta application, you have to create your WhatsApp business phone number, generate the token, and then integrate that token, permanent token, in the TX control. Or if you want to receive Telegram communication, we need the token that is generated directly from the development process in Telegram. So you have to create a bot with bot fodder, receive the token, and then with that token we will send all the communication directly on the channel that you have created, maybe by yourself.
Okay. So there's another question. To make it more simple, can we integrate in TX control any device supported by SNMP?
Yes. Every kind of devices that is supported by SNMP can be integrated in TX control.
Thank you. So more questions. Let me check just a second. Can the TX control mobile application manage real-time alarms, and what specific features does it offer for monitoring and responding to these alarms on mobile devices?
Let me read it. Can the TX control mobile application manage real-time alarms, and what specific feature that it offers for monitoring? Yes. Yes, we have already mentioned during the call. You can receive real-time notifications on the mobile application, and you can send directly comments or browse all the active events directly on the list or from the map page.
There's also a question for Kendall. Are you measuring values directly from a BE transmitter too?
I was just typing a response. We put the temperature probes, they have wires that connect to the device, and we put one on the exciter, one on the amplifier, one on the top of the rack, and maybe a couple other in the room to just make sure the room, measure the various devices. Because the BE also already has a heat sink temperature and its own temperature alarms you can look at through the units. These are just extra to make sure the rooms don't get too hot.
Thank you so much. So, by the way, we also provide some demos. So if you want to try, for example, the dashboard, or if you want to have a look on how to insert your devices, to configure your devices within our dashboard and everything, feel free to ask. We will be more than happy to show you actually, maybe on a private call, so that you can share all your doubts and share whatever actually you need. If there are any questions, feel free to turn on your microphone.
Se non ci sono, parlo in italiano, se non ci sono altre domande e gli ospiti italiani vogliono fare una micro sessione, visto che ho visto che ci sono diversi ospiti italiani, non ci sono problemi. Vedo Piero, vedo un po' di persone che conosco, quindi nel caso siamo a disposizione. Se no, Fra, chiudiamo.
Actually, Gianluca was just saying in Italian that if there are some other questions also in Italian or in other languages, feel free to turn on the microphone and we will try to answer. Or if you want to have a private section vertical on each language, we are more than welcome to do it and to organize it. Okay, so if there aren't any questions, thank you for joining us. Next month, we will have another webinar in December. So on the 5th of December, I will send you all the links and I'd be happy to meet you again there. And we will discuss about some other features. In this moment, I don't have the plan here, but I will inform you soon. You will receive the link with the registration of this webinar. So if you want to rewatch it or share with your community, feel free to do it. Thank you again and see you soon.